Yes, thank you. Okay, before like I was presenting my screen, I don't want this session to be like a unicast session. Like only I'm just going to deliver the content. I want the session to be much more interactive. So that's why I have like a happy news. Like I'm not here to I don't use any whiteboard. Okay, fine. And I'm not here to I won't use like any more than 5 slides for PPT, and I'm just here with a bunch of questions. Okay, I'm here with bunch of questions. You just please make note. Okay, I will be delivering certain important points or certain things that you should get follow while you're getting into research. Okay, I know you people, you have your bunch of questions in your mind as well, but I have my own sort of questions because I have crossed these things while I was doing my undergraduate or master thing, whatever might be. So why do we need research and what is the purpose of these things while getting into the thing? Because I hope like most of the people are from some other department too. So I just make this session to be like a broadcast session. Fine. Okay, let me just share my screen. Is the screen visible? I hope the screen is visible. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Okay. I just get into introduction. Okay. Before like getting into this thing, I just make this thing a blank paper. Okay. I just open a blank sheet. I just start with the question. Is it mandatory for an undergraduate candidate to get into research? Is this thing mandatory, or it is near for undergraduate people to get into a research? Up to me, what I do is, so apart from me or some other people who are like exploring things into research, I just want one thing to get conclude. Okay, I just give you some statistics or like percentage. Okay, in which the R&D department, okay, the R&D department, R&D department of the sector, in the sector, the contribution of R&D to this R&D department by different sectors, like we have central government, right? We have our government department, and we have our private sector. We have our private sector. We have like in government, even in government, we have two, right? We have central government and we have our state government, right? And then we have like our public sector. Apart from this private, and we have public sector, and one more, the powerful place, higher education sector. Higher education sector. So I just conclude like we have like five things. So in this thing, the contribution towards research and development, in which part it has been higher is higher education research. It has been contributing like nearly 45 percentage. Okay, it has been contributing 45 percentage. The people who are in a higher education, they were contributing like 45 percentage into the research and development sector. So, and then second place, it just goes to, of course, it might be getting short. It is like a private sector, it is being concentrating, like it is being contributing nearly 38 percentage. So, and the next thing, it just goes for the state, our state government. It is not like only Tamil Nadu. I just giving the entire strategy report. Okay. So it is like, moreover, the state government personally, they were like contributing like 7.5 or something. Okay. And then we go for our public sector. Okay. the public sector, it has been contributing like nearly 5.5 or 5.53 something. And then finally here you go with your central government. So why do we need this thing before getting into this? I just make the picture clear here. Like those people who are like getting into the higher educations, they were getting more contributions towards research and development. I won't say like if you are like in your bachelor's, you are not supposed to do research. Yes, you can, but while you are like getting updated in your steps, in your things, because learning it just makes the researcher and the scientist much better. Okay, it is like how you are today and how you would be on tomorrow. It is however you are going to getting learn towards particular things, which is it is up to you in which domain you are like trying to concentrating, and based upon those steps you will be dealing with the steps, right? So this is something I just want you people to get know, why we would be concentrating on research and development, and why do we prefer people. If you are like interested, yeah, I just hope like nearly 90 plus people were here, right? In most of the people who are like planning to do your masters or doctorate, you can get into, while you're like trying to get into the research steps, then you can. Fine. So of course, I just think like Antara Sengupta, right? She's actually have gone through a research. Okay, she had done with a research like introducing this undergraduate research in higher education. She had actually published a paper improving of research in India. Okay, of course, there are lots of statements or problems or being there in our research engineering side, but we have only by minimum people who are like ready to work under the research sectors. Okay, so what she had done is she had written a paper, okay, improving the research in India. Like what she have elaborated in the paper is she just tried to introduce the undereducated research in a higher education level. So what does the mean by those things? It's up to me. I don't want to open the paper and I don't want to show you the things. I just want to conclude important points, only the important points. What are the things you should be concentrating while you are like planning to do research, even in your bachelor's, even in your master's, no matter what. You should be very clear with the understanding of your research paper or research process, not paper. It is a process, okay? So you should be very clear in understanding the research process. And next thing is like you should be very clear in understanding how scientists work on problems. It is not like you're having your problem statements and you are ready to work and you are ready to give your time. Apart from this, you should be very clear how the people who were already into the research, how they were working on the problems. Because the point, the view you are looking towards a particular problem, okay? So it just differs from a graduate level to a master level to a doctorate level. So you should be very clear in looking towards a problem. And the third important thing is like you should be very, very conscious in like learning your lab techniques. For example, if you were planning to do things with your hardware steps, then you should be very, very clear with learning your lab techniques. And no issues like if you're like dealing with simulation stuff for CRC department and IT department. Of course, you people nowadays you are trying to upgrade the things towards an artificial intelligence. However, Python code is much enough while you're like dealing with those things. And then we will be, you should have your ability, okay? You should have the ability to analyze the data. You should know how the data is being processed, or how you should be very precise in collecting the data and serving the data. So the ability to analyze the data is a very, very prominent thing while you're like dealing with your research process. And one more thing is like the ability to integrate. What is like the mean of integrating is nothing but your theory and the practice. So you should be clear while dealing with your theory come practice section. If you are like done with your simulation part, meanwhile, what is the question? It is going to be raised whether it is possible to apply these things in a real time. If you were somehow an electronics graduate, meanwhile, you are supposed to show the proof by exposing these things in a real time. For example, if you are like working in a medical imaging sectors, then you should be clear with the things like what is the problem statement, what are the things that is being going through in a hospitals. You should take survey. Survey is a very prominent thing. What up to me is, in order to get into any research topic, no matter what, if you are like getting into any research topic, survey is very important. Of course, it is the very toughest part of research, because we people, while we are doing our research, we take much time while doing our, instead of doing simulation, we spend much time in surveying a particular topic. Okay, because it shows the need, what is the problem statement or objective, what the society needs, apart from what your point of view, what the society needs. Because this is a very toughest thing. Of course, it is easy to write a journal. Okay, what up to me is, it is easy to write a journal or conference paper, and it is very tough to write a survey paper, because you should be you should aware of all the things. It is not like one problem statement while you are like dealing with writing a survey. Or if you are like, okay, if you are new to a research topic, if you are new to some domain, and if you want to gather information but you are much more interested towards a particular topic, then I just prefer you to go with the surveying. You just take a survey paper. For example, if you are like dealing with some VLSI domain, you just go for VLSI designing and practicing survey papers from IEEE conference or whatever might be, from which you just prefer your way of understanding the skills. Of course, each and every author in a journal or any paper, they have their own way of writing skills. You have to be very precise in selecting the author which suits you. Apart from choosing an problem statement, the writing skills of an author, it should match with your wavelength. So you should be very clear while choosing your authors from where you are going to grow to the next level. So these are all the basic steps that you should deal while you're like dealing with your research topics, or choosing before like getting into the research topic or research. If you're like planning to get into research, this is the very basic things you should keep it in your mind. Apart from these things, of course, you should have your self-confidence, tolerance of obstacles, and some other clear path, or you should have your career path and your understanding how knowledge is being constructed, and so on. So these are something that is it is up to every person's mentality. That's it. Then this is something very common to all. Then I hope it is clear. Like before, like getting into the research, you should be conscious with these points to be followed by you in your mind. Then okay, now let me just get into the things. The VLSI. Okay, so the VLSI technology. So I just shows like this is something like introduction part. I just want to listen to my words instead of like copying these things from the slide. Fine. So the main concept of what the aim of this field is like, we are going to integrate various logic devices like diodes, transistor, and like in any smaller area, whatever might be. The main micro component of the VLSI concept is integrated circuit, IC. The concept of I just request the participant to mute your audio, please. I hope the host, he would remind these things.
Yeah, ma'am. It is done. Sorry for the inconvenience.
That's okay. Thank you. Fine. And the main concept of the VLSI, it just began after the development of complex semiconductors. Okay, so semiconductors, I just made much more the area clear, and the communication technologies as well. So there are like whatever might be you are going through, like CPU, RAM, ROM, and some other logic. All are essential attributes for an electronic circuit. Okay, but they are not like they are essential. Of course, they are essential for all the development of an integrated circuit. But here the VLSI, what it do is it just help us to integrate all these into a single chip. You are just going to build this everything into a single chip. So the microprocessor is a VLSI device, yes, as well we know. So what we are going to go through is, what I am going to deliver my lecture here is the importance and the future of VLSI. Up to me, I just want the things to be clear, like the importance of VLSI design and the future towards VLSI. So I just make this thing. So the future towards VLSI. So I said already IC, integrated circuits. So you all know it is nothing but some microchip or a semiconductor based device on which thousands of resistors, capacitors, transistors are fabricated as well. Of course, this is something like 2-mark question you would be writing for your examinations. But I just want this thing to much more interesting. So it is actually first fabricated, okay, in 1958, okay. It is 1958.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I hope some fellow have. Okay, you have muted me, I think. So the thing is like, where do I stop? Okay, I see, right? So for the first year students, of course, these flip-flops and transistors somehow tricky words, but it would be getting to you the picture clear in your second year. So here it composes of design of flip-flops and transistor integrated circuits, or basically it just a number of transistors. It is being sandwiched, right? It is being sandwiched. So what is this thing with VLSI? Before like getting into VLSI, we have our SSI. SSI is nothing but small scale integration. Like it has only 10 transistors. Just imagine, guys, it just have only 10 transistors. And then we have like our MSI. In MSI, we have like nearly 10 to 100 transistors. And our LSI, and here we have like nearly 100 to 10K transistors. And here comes our hero, VLSI. So here we have like nearly 10K to 1L transistors, 1 lakh transistors. So this is how it is being done. Okay. Of course, there is next part of this VLSI. We have our ULSI. I doesn't know how many people you have gone through this thing. We just have nearly like 10 lakhs, 1 lakh to transistors. And we have the one more fellow, GSI. We call it as gigascale integration. So it has more than 10 lakh transistors in it. So this is how the evolution of integrated circuit technology, it is being based on the complexity of the circuit, that is being, all these things are being developed in a single chip, only a single chip. So what is the main advantage of this IC chip is that the physical size of this IC is extremely small. Yeah, I know it is extremely small when compared to some other circuits. But high operating speed and it consumes very less power when compared to some other circuits. So however, though you were a good fellow, then what is the drawback with this IC? So the major drawback, so why I'm just concluding all these things is like, I just conclude with why do we need research in VLSI? Okay, so the major drawback of IC technology is the inductor and the transformer cannot be fabricated in IC. Inductors and transformers cannot be fabricated in IC, and it can also handle only a limited amount of voltage. It can handle only limited amount of voltage. Then, so I hope you get some idea. So how you can get into the things to happen. So however, the advancement in IC technology just leads to existing creation of new concepts of electronics communication and as well some other computing systems. Okay, this is how the VLSI is being done and how it is being getting developed. So how it is being getting developed, how VLSI was developed is like, however, either like 1950s, but in 1970s, the complex semiconductor devices just gone through the steps and it is being developed. Okay, so this is how it is being developed in 1970s. So this actually paved the way for VLSI later with the tens of thousands of MOS transistors on a single chip. Okay, on a single chip, it is being concentrated. So this is, let me just get into some 20s, okay? Where you go with your, the most prominent year, in 2008, the production of billion transistor processes was commercially due to some huge electrical applications have been developed. So however, nowadays you are like concentrating to enable a higher level of complexity, automated logic synthesis or some design automations, and this is being developed to manufacture of transistors. Okay, I just say, why do we need VLSI? My next question is why I need VLSI technology. So the main importance of VLSI technology can be realized from a simple question. Okay, simple question. Can we imagine a day without an electronic gadget? Yes, my dear. Can we imagine a day without any electronic gadget? No, not at all. The answer is absolutely no. Even if we wish, in this modern era, it is impossible because all the necessary and essential operations are functioning with the help of electronic gadgets. So starting with the mobile phones, personal computers, digital cameras, all these devices make the use of VLSI. So of course, in medical field, there is a vast problem statements are being there, which is unable to be solved by the people. There is a huge need of engineers in the medical field towards research of VLSI technology, because it has a significant impact because of the small size, low cost, and great versatility. So however, the cost effectiveness of this medical devices have improved by VLSI by its advanced and small size circuitry. Of course, to conclude with this, automobile industries, it also employs VLSI technology in the making of several components. So, however, it can be front or rear view of cameras in the cars, anti-lock braking systems in all kind of. Some people's, most of the boys were interested towards automobile industries, right? Then you two people, you have like anti-lock braking systems in all kind of automobiles, right? So these are all constructed with the help of VLSI. Of course, in communication, okay, in audio, voice communication. Right now, we people are working towards 6G. Yes. 5G is being implemented and the contribution towards 5G by our India is very, very prominent. Right now, I just gone through with one international seminar in which IIT people, they delivered the entire 5G setup. Okay, the entire 5G setup, it is there in our IIT Madras. So it is been our contribution towards 5G. It is much, much, much more than our 5G, 4G contribution from our India. So right now, we research peoples, we need much more in people towards the working towards 6G. Of course, communication can also collaborated with VLSI technology, right? So, however, we are planning towards, because here 6G, I just leave one problem statement, okay? I just want people to work towards this. RIS, okay? You just please go through this thing. You can get much more interested. If you are like ready to focus on VLSI as well, communication, there is a problem statement within communication, okay? In which we need people to contribute towards the development of chip. Okay, inside this RIS, with the help of this RIS, 6G is going to do some magic. So we need people to work towards this RIS so that the people who are working in physical layer, they would be much more helpful towards working towards this particular 6G network. Okay, so I feel left with one problem statement. You just please make a note of it. If you are like clear, if you are like your first year student, but you have interest towards research, of course, after a year you can get into your department domain subjects, in which you can go through this wireless communication as well, VLSI technology, VLSI design subjects, in which you have the opportunity to collaborate. Of course, I just leave with one more problem statement. Here we have like VLSI design, right? VLSI design along with your artificial intelligence. Yeah, I just love this thing. The machine learning and deep learning concepts. Of course, we need the people who are working towards Python. If you are like a Don, you are a Don with Python, then you can also collaborate the things with artificial intelligence along with the VLSI technology. It is not like artificial intelligence, it is meant only for the programming people. It is much more needed for core subjects, okay, core towards. So here I just leave with the advantages of what are all the advantages of this. Is something just a simple conclusion, okay? So advantages of VLSI technology. However, VLSI IC, integrated circuits, or manufactured in large number, its price is much less in the market. And of course, the VLSI devices are energy efficient since they consume very low power when compared to some other devices as well. Then, so the operating speed is high and all the components are sandwiched in a single chip. So, however, it is going to has high reliability due to the absence of complex interconnections. Of course, we have disadvantages, right? So the design of VLSI just involves millions of gates. Yeah, it is having like millions of gates transistor. So it is much bit complex for the beginners. Yeah, I just accept these things. Like it is somehow complex for the beginners. But if you are like aware of all the basic steps with the VLSI designing, you can crack the thing. Of course, it have very few disadvantages. It also has like some possesses high levels of abstractions, and these are we have only 1, 2 to 3 disadvantage of VLSI technology, but we can overcome this disadvantage. Is nothing but these are all the problem statements that we need people to work towards it. We have several applications, right? IoT concepts towards if you are like done with IoT things, then you can also collaborate this IoT things along with your VLSI technology as well. Bioelectronics, wireless communications, in defense, aerospace, and VLSI is applied in takeoff and landing of aeroplanes even. So weather monitoring in order to control the operation inside the aeroplane. So I just leave all the problem statement here. So it based on you and your thoughts, you can pick whatever you need. Of course, if you're like done with some more interested towards some appliances, then you can also work towards the VLSI technology towards home appliances as well. Of course, all the electronic devices are getting much more precise, right? So nowadays, while you're like using all the home appliances in your home, it has been all connected towards the cloud while you're like dealing with IoT. Meanwhile, if you are like connected towards the cloud, it just go through some other disadvantages of power, right? So the power is the main concept where you'd be concentrating towards your VLSI. The power should be and the gain should be high. And what about the throughput, right? So based upon these things, you can alter the designing of VLSIs circuits. Okay. So of course there is what is the future? What is the future in VLSI? So we have future in VLSI, and I just want to remind some person, okay? I doesn't know how many people you might know, Gordon Moore, and he is actually an industry pioneer. He has predicted that semiconductor technology would increase its efficiency for 24 months, 18 to 24 months. So as per his prediction, the industry of VLSI technology is growing rapidly. Rapidly it is growing. So Spintronics is actually a technology that what it just utilizes is a nanomagnet. Okay, it just utilizes the nanomagnets interactions as the state variable. So this is actually the emerging concept. So I just leave one more thing. This is some emerging concepts and have some unique properties like non-volatility, lower device count, and this Spintronic devices, we call this as like Spintronics devices or constructed with the help of VLSI technology. So the researchers are now involved in the development of the steep transistors. So these are nothing but the only process low subthreshold slope value. So these transistors, it just require very low amount of voltage to switch between on and off state. That's it. Nothing but, of course, I know it is somehow tricky or somehow risk to deal with the things, but we have the enough thing to deal with the VLSI technology research stuffs. Yeah, I just conclude this thing here, and I just want two things to get clear. Okay, I just give you like certain VLSI companies that is being there in India. So these are some other VLSI companies which is contributing much, most of its efforts towards the development of the VLSI technology devices. So what is the latest technology in VLSI? Okay, actually CMOS has become prevalent technology, okay, due to its high speed and packing density and coupled with like some low power consumption. But new technologies have emerged to further increase the circuit speed and also to reduce the design and technology constraints. So examples are like bipolar CMOS and CMOS in silicon on insulator. So what is the latest technology? I just give the question. The question is like, what is the latest technology in VLSI design? It's like BiCMOS and CMOS in SOI. What is this? SOI is nothing but silicon on insulator. Okay, silicon on insulator. So which technology is actually used in VLSI is VLSI is a process of creating integrated circuits, right? By combining millions of transistors into a single chip. But here, when VLSI began in 1970s, when MOS integrated circuit chips were widely adopted, enabling like certain complex semiconductor and telecommunication technologies have to be developed. So it is to be developed under this VLSI. And most of the people, they might get the question, is VLSI hard? Okay, while I was doing my bachelor's, of course, I thought of VLSI is very hard subject to deal with. No, it's not. There are actually two kinds of layout design. We call it analog layout design and physical designs, right, in auto. And has a very good CLI, command line interface. So you can use scripting ability mixed with your VLSI knowledge to meet the design requirements. Of course, in GCT, we have like our super cadence lab where you can get utilized with your steps. So which field, of course, okay, I done with this thing. In VLSI, we have lots of job opportunities, okay? Apart from this thing, which field is better? Which field is better or best? I just give like best. While you're like dealing with VLSI, in which field is better in sense, we have our design engineers who are like entirely concentrating towards the responsibility of design implementation alone. Design engineers, okay? Design implementations alone. These people, they were working under R&D department in private sectors. We have one more, verification. So verification engineers and CAD engineers, applications engineers. So I just give you all these parts that is being there with VLSI. Then, so we have this much amount of field that is being best in VLSI. So somehow some people were planning towards abroad, right? So I doesn't know. But if you are like planning towards abroad, so I too have the answer for the question, which country is best for VLSI jobs or doing something like USA? They just rock towards VLSI designing. And of course, Taiwan, yeah, is the best scope. The two leading semiconductor companies, Intel and Samsung, right? So from where the above two countries, it just as well the host of some other companies like graphics or mentor graphics, Synopsys, AMD, all these they were in USA. So that will be better if you are like planning to do some research. Of course, most of my friends or my colleagues, they are doing their postdoctorates in US. So where they have their much more resources options. So which is better, embedded or VLSI? Of course, most of the people, you might get a question like embedded versus VLSI. You also have confusion whether both are same. No, not at all. Scope in embedded system or very much VLSI is also very good. But if you are not interested in computer language, then you can choose VLSI. In VLSI, you can only design circuit and there is no need of computer language. Whereas for VLSI subject, right, it is suitable for those students which are interested in circuit design, not interested in language. So yeah, I just conclude the thing. If you are like getting confused with which domain I just wanted to get into, here I just give you the thing. Of course, the salary of this embedded designs, of course, it is higher. So I just want to conclude one more thing. What is the future of semiconductor? Where it is going to be? Futures of semiconductors. Here comes the important thing, artificial intelligence, IoT. And these two things in particular have sparked a new wave of innovation in semiconductor industries. Okay. So if you are like planning towards research in VLSI, you just please concentrate either in artificial intelligence along with IoT or IoT. The collaborations of AI with VLSI or IoT with VLSI, it is going to make sense. So the manufacturers are expecting those things from the researcher side. Okay. So the manufacturer who can meet the needs of both this artificial intelligence and IoT for the semiconductor chips will likely rise to the top in the future markets as well. So if you are like planning to go into some private sector and you are like planning to get into some VLSI design sort of things, then you just please concentrate towards this AI along with IoT. And most of the people, they have the questions. Does VLSI they have scope? Of course, since products like mobile phones are being released with a few new features, like the iPhone, it has been launched, right? So released with new features, it has been increasing shorter cycles. Okay, there is a healthy demand. There is a healthy demand for qualifying for VLSI engineers to work on these projects. Therefore, there is a good scope for career in VLSI industry as well. So somehow they were planning towards masters. We have which IIT is best for MTech. Of course, like BITS Pilani, I hope they have, and NIT Trichy if you are like planning towards in our region. Then, so this is up to me. I just conclude this thing. Okay, I just go for the important thing. Okay, I was here with 2 papers. So I just want you people before getting into if you are like trying to search some papers, okay. Till now I just given what do we need VLSI and what are the important things that should be concentrating towards VLSI and what are the things you should be keeping in your mind while you are dealing with VLSI. Right? So here the first thing what you go is like you just go for searching the base papers, right? Okay. Of course, it is tougher job while you are getting to search into some base papers. Meanwhile, you are going to, if you have your own problem statement in your mind, that would be better rather than like going with these things. That is up to you. Okay. So what up to me is you have to undergo a survey, even though if you have your own problem statement in your mind, no issues. You just go with a survey of paper. It just make your idea much more clear. Here I just have this paper. It is being cited by nearly 25 people, and it is being released in 2020 in our IEEE Explore. Okay. So I'm not here to explain this paper. Okay. I'm not here to explain this paper. I just want you people to look how the paper, to look into the paper. How you are going to deal with the base paper and which part you should concentrate. Rather than reading the entire paper, right? If you are like giving your full effort on reading your first paper, then it just make you to get your energy level down. So, for example, I just go with this thing. Here I have one paper, right? Comparative analysis of 8-bit transistor. Of course, they have done with a carry chain adder. They have used an adder using FinFET at 8 nm of technology. They have just incorporated this adder in 18 m, right? Here, what it is like, this is the topic. Okay. Now, what you have to do is you just try to look into the abstract. You should be clear with this thing. What are the things that is being written here in your introduction? What are my good things? But you should be clear with the abstract. So what they are going to get into the problem statement test. Of course, every IEEE papers or every research and journal paper, all the papers, they have their own abstract. In the abstract, you can get the entire idea clear, what they are going to get implement in their things. Okay. So after that, you just please skip all the things, what it is being there. You just get down to the conclusion. Okay. If you were able to understand the abstract and conclusion, then you can supposed to get into the paper. Before getting into the what they are planning to get into the thing, before that you are like getting into some tabular column and some other diagrammatic part. It will make you the point of view, their point of view towards your research to some other direction. Okay, because it just happens. If you are like reading a paper, you keep on learning, of course, but the implementation is very important rather than keep on learning. Okay, so what you have to do is you just concentrating on the abstract and conclusion, and you just conclude in your mind regarding the paper. Okay, next you just move to the next paper and you just go for the abstract and the conclusion. Okay, you just set it in your mind, like you have to read two papers. If you
The speaker will be joining in some time. She has left due to some network issues. Please hold on.
am I audible? How long I have been not into the session? Guys, am I
Yeah, you're audible, ma'am. It has been like 2 to 3 minutes.
okay? Okay, just 2 to 3 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I hope I've left with this how to read the paper. I hope you all got this thing. I've just concluded the thing like how to get into paper before like getting into a research. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you would be concentrating on how you would read a paper before like getting into these things, right? So one more thing I just wanted to leave here is like uh, most of people you are like getting confused with your VLSI and artificial intelligence. So you get a question like which is better, VLSI versus artificial intelligence? It is not like VLSI versus artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence it just refers to simulations of human intelligence, right, in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. The term may be actually applied to any machines that exhibit the traits associated with your human mind, such as learning and problem solving. But in a simple word, what I have to conclude is in artificial intelligence, first you train the model by giving input and output data, right? You are giving the input data and you are going to give the output data as well. Later, when you give the new input data, the model should figure out the output, right? This is how it is going, it is working. So you can figure and abstract from the millions of papers, all the papers, they have certain way of writing their abstract and each paper contains 50 pages manually. It will take a lot of time. So artificial intelligence comes and rescues for such stuffs. There are also many other, some other examples. Even during our COVID models, it has been analyzed for corona vaccine, right? So it is something like mathematics and logical stuff that is to be dealt. If you're like strong able to deal with your linear algebra, then you can crack the artificial intelligence as well. So what about this VLSI is the process of creating the in IT, right? Process of creating your integrated circuits by like combining millions of mass transistors onto a single chip. So if you have your electronic skill as well, the problem uh, as well as you have your circuit skill, digital skill, and analog skill. The person from different background is not preferred. Not it is easy to get into this thing. But if you are like able to deal with all your VLSI stuff, innovative tools and the things happen, AI skill along with this VLSI, it just makes the things much better. So even nowadays, like the medical equipments, like Philips is using artificial intelligence in their machine in their latest model to ease the medical professions. Then okay, I just leave the questions from your side. I hope like I just covered how you would be dealing with VLSI research, how you should look towards VLSI research, because it is not the owner is not enough to deal with entire steps. If you have like any questions to ask, just please let me know. You can leave in your research topics or your how you can, whether you are supposed to deal with some other things, you can ask. Let me know.
Yeah, thank you for walking us through your VLSI journey, ma'am. It was really so detailed. So we have some questions from registrations. So the first one is, how do you find inspiration for ideas to start research? Like, how do you decide in which field you want to research?
Okay, fine. It's up to me. What I did is while I was getting the things happen in real time. Okay, not only like simulation part is not a simple thing. Of course, it is tougher job. But when I just started implementing things in real time, it made me much more get interested.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry for interrupting. Your voice is actually breaking.
Was doing research. So in while I was dealing my masters in GCT, I just gone through this USRPK, which made me the things much clear. I could able to relate the things in real time. So
Yeah.
sorry now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. So that's like when I started implementing things in real time, it just made me to get much more closer to the research part. So I just want every people, not only you are going to deal some problem statement, you are going to do your simulation part. It is not like, of course, there are several things that is to be delivered to our society. So you just please keep it in your mind, start implementing things. So implementing it just made me to get into the research much more closer. Yeah, you have some other questions?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for answering. And the second question is, for an absolute beginner and someone who has never read a research paper, how do they skim through a technical paper?
Could you please come again?
Yeah. So for someone who has never read a research paper, for the first time, what are some key points that they should remember when they read a research paper?
Okay, the first key point is like what you should keep it in your mind is you should be very clear in your domain initially. For example, if you are like well versed in embedded, but you are trying to do research in some other VLSI or wireless, it is not much more fair for yourself to get into this thing. Okay, it is not like something forced to be get into research. It is entirely just based upon your interest. So if you are a beginner to get into the research, and if you have never gone through any papers before, what you should keep it in your mind is not to read the entire paper, guys. You just go for the things that is to be done with the basic stuff. For example, if you are like going to do research in some other programming languages, so you start exploring things from your subject. Of course, your subject matters. The subject what you are studying, it matters in research. You cannot say like subject never, it just control. Of course subject matters, so please keep it in your mind. Be strong in your base, and then you just get higher. Yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, thanks for the answer, ma'am. Like we have two questions in the chat box. How to do
Okay.
simulation? How to
The
simulate circuits
circuit.
in advanced technology like 14 nanometer and 5 nanometer?
Okay, and I have like one more question, which is more advanced and used widely VLSI. Of course, Niveda, it is VLSI. It is being used much for the researcher side, because for implementation, it will be much harder while you're like dealing with ULSI. So we prefer VLSI for much widely used for researcher part. So we have very low very low number of resource activities in our India. So if you are like planning to move, if you are have your best problem statement, or if you are like done with your all the things under VLSI stuff, then you can able to move ULSI, and it is not possible, of course, in our country, and you can actually move towards some other regions. And here we have like one more, like Suntra Ganesh, yeah, asked a question like simulation in advanced technology, like 14N. Okay. What up to me is the implementation, right? We call it like while you're like before implementing into a hardware, the first thing is like you are just trying to simulate the things. So this is the thing what he had tried to question. Here we, of course, we deal with the basic softwares. We use CAD related softwares in our corporate. Of course, they have their licensed CAD related softwares like AOS and BOS. In those softwares, what they do is they do their implementation of all the nanotechnology devices, implementation and simulation part. Of course, we also deal with our, while you are dealing with your college level, okay, in your college level, cadence is much more enough for you people to get implemented with the things. If you are like dealing with your simulation part alone, it is enough. And if you are like trying to elaborate the things much more, then you have to collaborate with incorporates. Meanwhile, you can get much more exposed towards VLSI. Okay, I have one more question. All the VSC simulation software is IP protected. How to get? Yeah, that's the thing I've said. It is all IP protected. That's why I said like here in our GCT we have a Cadence server, right? So it is much more. It is much easier for you to get access with your Cadence tool in our GCT. If you are like getting utilizing all the softwares that has been there in VLSI domain in our GCT, it will be much better for you to get into the corporates or some other research works while you're like trying to collaborate with corporates. Of course, it is all IP protected. We don't have any crack version tools for it. I hope we don't have any crack version tools. Of course, we use some other Quattros. That's for like for our system Verilog and Verilog sort of codes to be run. Suggestions to choose a base paper. What is the suggestion to choose paper? Sorry, Saravana, I didn't get what you're trying to.
Yeah, Saruna Kumar, if you can like unmute and ask, it would be more understandable.
Word to search. Okay. Okay, I just give you. Yes, guys. I just leave the things here. I just leave. Of course, you are like searching for some papers, okay, and you are unable to open the paper, even if you have your IEEE access. You doesn't have this thing. I hope you all come across this wonderful website, SciHub. Okay, what you have to do is you have to copy paste the link of the particular paper in SciHub. That's it. This is for where you can get the base papers. Nothing like, for example, if I just oh. Okay, I just go for like, this is how you bachelor's. We just search like, okay, 5G. If you're like trying to deal with 5G, I just go with this first 5G paper. If I am just trying to open this paper, if you doesn't even have your IEEE access, no issues. What you can do is you can copy paste the link and you can open this in SciUp. Okay, in SciUp, what you can do is you can crack the license of the paper and you can take the paper from it. And I just give you one more website, LibGen. Okay, LibGen. So this website is meant for accessing book. Okay, book access. If you are like need to access certain books through online, which is not unable to purchase. In Libsyn, here is the website from where you can access book on SciUp. This is much more enough, I hope. So in the SciUp website, what you can do is you can just copy paste the particular link of the thing and you can go for next and you can download the paper. Okay. Of course, in our college we have our license stuff. In our library we have. Yes, Sarvana, we have in our library. Sorry, I have some bad network here.
It's okay, ma'am. We'll post the link later. There are two other questions. Now you're audible.
Sorry guys for the inconvenience because I was facing towards some weather issues in my area. That's why I was unstable with my network connection. Can you please read out the question because I doesn't able to see any questions in my chat box. Is there like any questions
sure,
to be?
Yeah, we have two other questions. One is analog VLSI versus digital VLSI. Can you please elaborate the difference?
Okay, actually, there is a primary difference. Okay, so this is nothing but the type of analysis what you are going to use. In digital VLSI, we would be concentrating on the process of creating the integrated circuits by combining the thousands of transistors into a single chip, right? So where you can also be coming through CPU, RAM, ROM, and everything. Whereas here in analog design, the circuit is just treated as a continuously varying signal. Okay, it is entirely the difference is like you're going to implement over there with the help of thousands of transistors. Here you are going to deal with the varying signal over time. Okay, so this is going to be the main differences or the primary differences between analog and digital VLSI. What is the next question is?
The next question is, as I'm a UG student, how can I learn about VLSI? Are there any prescribed books?
While you're like dealing with the things, up to me, if you are an electronics and communication graduate, after I hope in the 5th semester, you will be dealing with VLSI design subject. If you are done with this VLSI design subject, and then you can get into the next part of the thing, because VLSI is not the simple thing to deal with directly without having the basic knowledge in your domain. So you should be come across with what is digital communication, what is analog communication, and after those things you can get into VLSI. So up to me, or this is the main thing. If you are like done with your VLSI design subject in your 5th semester, then you can get into your research even in your 5th semester, even no issues. Is there like any questions left?
Yeah, thanks, Ranjini ma'am. That's it from the participant side.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing detailed view about VLSI and the different opportunities there. We really appreciate your time. So thank you all participants for being patient. Thanks again. Would you like to tell something, ma'am, to conclude?
No, all the best for you guys. If you are like, I just appreciate all of the people who are like, even if you are into your first year, you are trying to get some things towards research. I appreciate, of course, we need most of the people to work towards several problem statements or research that has been there in our engineering side. So I just appreciate you all. Thank you. That's it. All the best for your things to be happen. Please stay tuned and you start. Of course, the COVID is done. Start learning as well. You just start elaborating things or exploring things. Start explore, and start implementing things. Exploring when the things only when you are starting implementing. So implementation is a very important thing to deal with. Yeah. Thank you so much. All the best for your things. Thank you so much.
That is really a valuable point, ma'am. Thanks for pushing us. Thank you again. The participants, you're free to leave the meet. Thanks for your time, ma'am.